Hi, Dr. Reagan Robertson, CCO of Productive Dentist Academy here, and I have a question for you. Are you finding it hard to get your team aligned to your vision, but you know you deserve growth, just like everybody else? That's why we've created the PDA Productivity Workshop. For nearly 20 years, PDA workshops have helped dentists just like you align their teams, get control of scheduling, and create productive practices that they love walking into every day. Just imagine how you will feel when you know your schedule is productive, your systems are humming, and your team is aligned to your vision. It's simple, but it's not necessarily easy. We can help. Visit productivedentist.com/workshop. That's productivedentist.com/workshop to secure your seats now.
My simplest explanation to young people is, listen, if you're an associate forever, you work out of, let's say you have one control over yourself. So you have one body, but as an owner, if you have two hygienists or three or four, like all of a sudden you're multiplying yourself, which is hard to figure out how to make happen really as an associate. So they get it, they understand. And those 3 years for them are really, it's kind of like an extended residency. It's a training ground.
Welcome to Investment Grade Practices podcast, where we believe private practice dentists deserve to get the lifestyle today while building an asset for tomorrow. Join your host, Victoria Peterson, to design the practice of your dreams and secure your financial independence. Let's get started.
Welcome back to Investment Grade Practices. I'm Victoria Peterson. So excited to be with Dr. David Rice, the founder of IgniteDDS. David, I'm so happy to have you here today.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for the invite. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Have you ever noticed in dentistry that young dentists and old dentists tend to have the same fears and the same mindset? Have you noticed that?
I have, and may have built a course or two around it in my day.
And that is the reason that I wanted you to be a guest with us today. Investment Grade Practices primarily focuses on our audiences are established dentists who are growing their practices, contemplating expansion or selling or bringing in investment partners over the next 5 to 8 years. And what they need more than anything are young doctors who want to come in and work in a productive office. And, their fear is I can't find anybody. From what you've told me in conversation, young doctors are like, I wish I could find a great practice. So let's talk today about how do we bridge this gap? In spiritual terms, they always say what you're seeking is also seeking you. And I feel like this is one of those moments. So can you tell us a little bit about IgniteDDS and the platforms you have for young doctors?
Absolutely. So we are a community of a little north of 43,000 young dentists, dental students who are hungry to probably be in, one of your practices, which I love. And we work with them on a mentorship side. We work with them on education, how to navigate where they are, and then how to get where they're going with a really big part of what we do. Our topic today, connecting them to the best practices, all over the country. And they want that. So the great news is, I know you think they're not out there. They think you're not out there. And our job is just to bring all of us together.
I love it. What are young doctors looking for? Are they entrepreneurial? Do they just want a job? What do you know? You've got the inside scoop.
So I think, if you subscribe to Pareto's principle, that 80-20, 20% of them are so much more entrepreneurial spirited than I was when I was a young dentist. I know that's not what a lot of people share. That's not the story being told. They really, really are. The things that get in their way from an obstacle standpoint, perception or reality, the biggest one is their debt. So they're afraid of that number. And unfortunately, in dental schools all across America, that message gets pounded into their brains by many faculty members. And it's compounded with lunch and learns by big corporate entities who have a lot of money to spend. So they play on that pain and try to really strum that tune. But the good news is they want ownership. And I would say at least in our community, 85% of them are seeking it before their third year out after graduation.
Oh, that's a great statistic. I didn't know it was before the third year out. I thought it was traditionally like 5 years out. So three, it's so funny because the problem lies within the answer, or the answer lies within the problem, right? If you have $500,000 in debt, the only way you're going to get out is to own your own practice and control the profits from there, because you won't pay it back off your salary.
No, my simplest explanation to young people is, listen, if you're an associate forever, you work out of, let's say you have one control over yourself. So you have one body, but as an owner, if you have two hygienists or three or four, like all of a sudden you're multiplying yourself, which is hard to figure out how to make happen really as an associate. So they get it, they understand. And, those 3 years for them are really, it's kind of like an extended residency. It's a training ground. They want to get their skills, their speed, a little experience, maybe learn a little something about the business so it's not so daunting to them. But man, the opportunity to bring in an associate with a path to ownership it's huge to them.
So I want to talk about two things here. One, how does IgniteDDS help prepare them for that? I know you've got a robust CE platform and mentorship platform. Can you talk to us more about that?
Sure. So areas where young dentists need more help, where school runs out of time, they don't really understand how to diagnose and treatment plan. I remember being a student, like all I wanted to do is pick up a handpiece and go, 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 go. And it wasn't until my residency and taking some higher level CE that I'm like, oh, I really need to learn how to see it before I can do it. So we work diligently with them on diagnostics and treatment planning. We work diligently with them on patient communication skills, how to speak a language that your patient understands, things that are really familiar to you, Victoria. So we give them those two foundation. And the third one is leadership. We try to help them understand that whether you're an associate or an owner, a team is going to look to you as someone to lead them. So the faster we give them a skill set without being offensive when they come into somebody's practice and they're not the owner,
right? Then
we know the more prepared they'll be, and the more an owner will say, oh my gosh, this is exactly who I was looking for.
Oh, that's it. You know what? Teaching that middle management, almost type leadership, it's you have to lead through influence because you have no authority, right? So that's terrific that you're teaching them how to influence their team, how to influence their patients, how to connect, how to move the ball forward. And I would say a lot of times, if associates do come straight out of school and they haven't had the learning opportunity, that is one of the biggest struggles. And I'm glad that you hit on also the diagnostics not fully being covered in dental school. And I think since I graduated in 1980, which I don't think any of the dentists that are graduating today were even born in 1980, the requirements are lower, like the units of endo or crown and bridge or whatever they're doing. But even back then, there was never an emphasis on comprehensive care. It was more diagnosed for the unit that you need to deliver today. You're diagnosing for requirements. You're not diagnosing for health. And that's a huge distinction.
Agree.
Yeah. Agree. Yeah. So tell us about your platform, IgniteDDS.
Yeah.
The community and
it's community wise, we work with our community both on our .com, but I would say far more on social media. As we all know, that's where Gen Y and Gen Z are living 22 hours a day. So we bring a lot of content to them in really small doses where they're already hanging out.
Yeah.
And as a result, we kind of pull them into our community for deeper learning when they're ready. And thankfully, many of them are ready sooner than later. So we do a lot of work there. We travel around the country constantly. I'm probably in too many cities for Anastasia. She probably wants to like chain me to a chair at home. But, I would say if I'm in 40 cities a year and then multiply myself with multiple people on our team, we try to get to the schools, the residency programs. We get to, all the major meetings and host events. And then we have our own Ignite events as well, which are geared right around the conversation we're having. So we bring a lesson, but the big part of the lesson is then connecting both sides. So we may speak directly to young people, but by the end of the evening, we invite, dentists from whatever community we're in, like to come in, and it becomes a big networking event.
Oh, so, how does that work?
Man, we call them Network and Chill, and they're phenomenal. We do say 30 minutes of, meet and greet and have a cocktail and a snack. Then we do like a 30-minute, almost TED Talk, little extended TED Talk. And we gamify it, and we charge these young dentists to go out and build connections and not get stuck with their friends. And on the other side of the door, another person on our team is prepping, dentists like you and I to say like, hey, we're about to bring you 40, 50, 60, depends on the city, young dentists and students. So tonight's your night to go meet the next person you're bringing into your practice. And worst case scenario is we're all going to make friends. And best case scenario, we bring people together who otherwise both believe that person's not out there for them, they're so much fun. And awesome. The results are, tremendous.
Our passion is to help keep independent private practice or group practices going, so that dentists have autonomy over their clinical choices. They've got control over hours in their life and all of that kind of thing. And, there's one thing to talk about it. You're out there doing it, and you're doing it in such a fun way. I just love this.
Thank you. Yeah.
It sounds a little more sophisticated than speed dating.
It's very intentionally designed. When you're there as a guest, you feel like it's very casual, but it's, by design, it's very casual because we don't want anyone to feel intimidated. And we want people to walk away from that night, not only having enjoyed it, but having at least 2 connections that they didn't have prior to coming in.
Is Instagram the primary place? What are your social media outlets that you're on?
Instagram is our primary channel because our audience is so young. We reach about 100,000 of them per week. It's super fun. And I'm, I'm an older guy now, so I take my direction from our young team. I'm like, tell me what to do. I will do what you tell me.
Older guy, you look 36.
Well, when you told me graduated in 1980, I'm like, well, how many grades did you skip to get there?
Oh my goodness. So what is so cool about this is you instantly identified also, like, why do young people think baby boomer doctors don't want them, and why can't baby boomer Gen X doctors find millennials and Gen YZ? They just literally are in 2 different ecosystems. They're one's at the beach and one's at the lake, and you got to bring them together. This is amazing. Now, I know that we're kicking off our first Investment Grade Practice Summit in September. I know you have a conflict because you're traveling all over the place, but we will have you participating via video with our private clients, because this is such an important piece to building an investment grade practice, is finding the 2nd generation or 3rd generation of leadership to come into your practice and carry the clinical philosophy of care forward, to lead the team forward. And really so impressed with what you're doing.
Thank you. We feel the same way about everything you guys are doing. So I'm happy to be a part of it in some small way.
If a doctor is looking for an associate other than the meet and greets and things that you do live, is there another way for doctors to search for young doctors or get their name out there through IgniteDDS?
Absolutely. Please take advantage of it. We don't broker. We just like connecting. So this is not a revenue thing for us. Just go to IgniteDDS.com. You'll see there your ability to look for an associate, to look for someone if you're looking for a partner, so almost like a transition. And, all you have to do is give us your information, and we will reach out to our audience and say, hey, we've got this tremendous opportunity out there for you. So please take advantage of it. We're happy to help.
I love it. So is there a form that they fill out, or just, yeah?
Yeah, super basic. It's all the things you'd imagine. It's your name, contact information. If you have a specific contact at your practice that you'd like us to reach out to, or somebody to reach out to. And I would say the more information, it's not going to take you more than 5 minutes to fill out, but if you fill it out, really fill it out, that gives us the greatest opportunity to showcase you in front of, all of our
I have one particular doctor seeking someone now. He'll put his link tree and all of his social handles on there. He'll probably upload 25 videos and pictures if you let him.
Yeah, that's all. And if any of you out there too, if you ever want to, share a story about success and how you got there, our youngsters are always looking to hear what went well. And, if you're open to being vulnerable and sharing, like, hey man, if I was going to do it all over again, I wouldn't do these things, again, let us know. We have opportunities for all of those things, and we're happy to share them.
That's great. Now tell us the other arms of Ignite. You've got IgniteDDS that focuses on the young dentist. These are like under 5 years, or do you even put an age limit on it?
So originally we kind of put a 10-year age limit on it. We sort of followed organized dentistry's model as they transition out. And what we've really found is 80% of our audience is within 6 years, and 20% is all over the board. We get is all over the board. So yeah, we primarily deal with the younger side of dentists, and then connecting them to more seasoned pros when they're ready. Our study clubs are amazing. We have those for both young dentists, as well as we just launched them for dental students. So we have this big open format to educate students, and all of that stuff is free to them. And then with our study clubs, we made it really inexpensive. I think it's like $50 a year, but the whole point is like they have some skin in the game. So they show up because they're busy and they're students and they get distracted. And I remember, but we only want the top 10%ers involved in our study clubs. So those are amazing for us. And I love meeting those students, especially because you can tell they might be a second year, like, oh my God, this gal or this guy is just going to crush it in life. They just get it.
Yeah.
So those are great. We've got a whole team side. So, we were talking about Kevin Henry before you and I came on here today. So he works a lot with dental assistants. We're about to launch Ignite RDH. We have 3 tremendous hygienists who many of you will know. As we launched it, you'll see their names and be like, oh, of course.
Oh, come on. No sneak preview. Anastasia's part of that, right?
No, Anastasia's smarter than that. She recognizes that we are stronger as a couple when we support each other, but we don't directly work together. Smarter than I am. So much smarter than I am. Anastasia, if you're watching, you're welcome. No, it's but Amber Auger is a part of the team. So she's great. She does a lot of work with RDH Magazine, as well as a program she developed called Thrive in the Op that helps young hygienists on clinical side. We've got Malia from Hygiene Edge, who is an educator at kind of through and through. And she is joining our team. And then Marlise, also at a hygiene program, is joining our team. They're just 3 dynamic ladies with none of them knew each other, which was perfect. I asked them all individually before we brought them together. And that's probably about 4 or 5 months away. We're literally building this ball of clay together, which is a blast. And it's shocking to them. They're like, well, you're not just going to tell us what to do. I'm like, no, this is yours. This is yours. Like, I'm here to help. We're going to facilitate, but we're going to build together what you 3 ladies see the need to build. So it's exciting and coming soon.
That's awesome. Well, I'm excited. I've been watching your career, reading your column in Dental Entrepreneur magazine for years and years and years. And now that I have this podcast platform, I'm like, ooh, how do I go and talk to and interview my favorite people in dentistry? And you were certainly on my top 10 list.
Well, I really appreciate being here. Thank you so much. I love what you guys are doing. Thank you for representing legacy and better in dentistry. It doesn't go unnoticed.
Oh, well, you're welcome. David, if people want to get a hold of you, the best way to do that would be?
Sure. 2 ways, really. My email is my name. It's david.rice@ignitedds.com. Or if you are a social media lover, just find IgniteDDS on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, wherever you want. And whatever's easiest for you, just reach out. Happy to help.
I love it. Well, thank you for helping raise the next generation to greatness and keeping private practice secure. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Investment Grade Practices Podcast. If you find value in this episode, help us spread the word by passing it along to a dental friend, subscribe, and give us a like on iTunes or Spotify. Learn more about building your investment grade practice at productivedentist.com today.